OTC Decoded. What's the funniest or most memorable thing that's happened to you on a job site?
Okay, this also goes back to my early career at Sasol, and I was involved in the alkyl amines plant in Newcastle. So I was there for the commissioning. I think, if I recall, the only woman on site. And, obviously you're trying to make your mark. And I found that I tended to be overlooked and everything, so I wasn't particularly happy. Then the one day, one of the operators came to me and said, "Annmarie, I really need your help. Will you help me?" So I was kind of, "Oh no, this is my chance. Now, things are coming together." So he said, "No, just come with me." So he took me off to the control room, and I was waiting to be shown, what big issue that needed to be resolved. He hauled out a bag, handed it to me, and said, "What can I do with these?" It was a bag of vegetables. He wanted to know how to cook them.
We installed the Komati Poort compressor station on the pipeline from Mozambique for intermediate compression. There was a problem and they had to take the pipes apart, and then they couldn't fit the stuff together again. No pipe fitted anywhere in the thing, and we had to do a whole problem analysis to figure out which pipe originally belonged where, and I had to lead that and try and get the guys to figure out what pipe they took out where. It's big pipes, it's like I think 1.5 meter diameter pipes and so on. So if you don't put the pipes in correctly, there's a lot of stresses and things don't fit. And the artisans on the job were totally confused. Why does the pipes not fit anymore? And we had to do a bit of like a PDA almost to say, how did you take it apart? How are we going to put it back together? Eventually, I think it got fitted together again.
Okay, so perhaps most memorable on the big fire on the 85-meter tall column, all the hatches were open and the packing inside was burning, and fire department couldn't get it out because there was an on-site milling machine on a 54-inch flange, and they couldn't isolate the column and stop the draft. With it being 85 meters tall, it was like a huge chimney. And so an artisan and I went up under the cover of the fire brigade, and we climbed up probably about 30 meters. And we took spanners with us, and we dropped the largest on-site milling machine in the world. We dropped it onto the grating, put a tarpaulin over the flange, fire stopped, or they were then able to get the fire out. But it was pretty scary. That's memorable.
Well, how much time do I have? Because there were plenty, but I think the funniest one was somewhere in the early 90s, 1994, I think, we did a project on the ammonium nitrate plant. And one of my jobs was to install a tie into a live cooling water system. So we got a window opportunity of 3 hours where we could shut down the cooling water and do the tying. But it was on 2 underground lines. Deryck Coetzer was our project manager, and he was present during this time. And we couldn't get the water to stop flowing. So once we cut into the line, the water just came and we couldn't get it to stop flowing. So very quickly, we just had a whole hole full of water. And so eventually I came up with a plan. We put in a couple of chuff-chuff pumps to get all of the water out of the hole. And then Peter, Stefan and I went to town to buy a lot of soccer ball bladders, and which we put into the line, pumped it up with water to get the tying done. It was almost successful because the sparks of the welding actually caused the bladders to pop, but eventually we got it in. So eventually we got the project done, and that was, I think, within the 3 hours of opportunity we had, which was on a Friday night, I think, in the middle of winter. Yeah, it was quite fun.